Where did you think you were going?
I don't know.
Back to the pits?
Back to the pits, yeah, back to the pits.
Bobby Braxton.
I'll tell you what, it's always a lot of fun to see you and the rest of the gang here tonight. How many stories did you trade already?
Quite a few. Gerald and I have been trading some lies over there a little bit, I guess.
That's what I was just going to say. How many of the stories were true?
Yeah, pretty much all of them.
Do you when you get together with these guys and you talk about, you say, remember the night when I did this and you did that? Does the other guy remember?
Yeah, I think so, pretty much. Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes when you talk to a race car driver, even some of the guys that have done it for a long time, they can remember a specific race and how they won it, what they did. So I guess you don't forget those things, right?
I don't know, I can remember some stuff, but not every stuff. I mean, you race a lot of nights a week. A few things stand out, like winning a feature or whatever, but
yeah.
If you crash, you usually don't remember too good.
Yeah, you don't want to remember those nights, right?
No, it's never your fault anyhow, so it doesn't matter.
What was it like, now racing twice a week? I know a lot of guys these days run once a week. You have a lot of work, a lot of preparation to get the car ready. You guys had a quick turnover. You had Friday night and you had a race Sunday night again, and some guys probably ran in between there too. What was it like trying to get ready, boom, 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 two nights in a row like that?
It was pretty easy for me because I didn't maintain the car, but I'll tell you what, those guys that owned that 10 car, we had one car and one engine, and when Penn National opened, we raced 3 nights a week, and that car was always ready and it was always competitive.
Wow, that is unbelievable. But I guess, I don't know how I want to say this, but today's cars are built for flexing and to grip the track and everything. You guys had cars that were, I guess we should say, rock solid, so I guess they survived a little longer.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of cars out there that ran for quite a number of years and were still competitive all the time. And maybe it's because it was all built out of good, strong junkyard parts.
That's for sure. Tell us about the night when you first came to Reading, what it was like when you pulled out onto the racetrack.
Well, it was interesting. I had an open face helmet, a pair of aviation goggles like everybody did, a nice white t-shirt, and
no driving suit.
I'll tell you another story a little bit after this, but my first night at Reading, I never ran on anything that was a heavy track, and I go out and warm up, so we're going around in slow laps, and they dropped the green flag, and Gerhardt passed me in that 54 car, and he was about sideways, and man, just getting pelted with this mud and stuff. I'm going, wow, this is what this is about. So, it was pretty interesting. I mean, it was all beating me in the head and into my arms. So then I finally got a race suit, and I used to have to stuff cardboard in there or tape it to my sleeve to keep from getting banged up with the mud clots out there, But there's a story I wanted to say. Gerald was talking about Paul Deasy, and probably a lot of people don't know this, but Paul was very instrumental in helping me out when I got started. I used to work on the 707, and after Taz quit and Paul was going through a string of drivers on the East Coast, back in the day somebody could qualify a car and another driver could drive it. So I actually ran my first modified race at Nazareth in the 707, and I'd never driven a race car before in my life. Paul also introduced me to Gerald when he came down, and Gerald's another guy that helped us out when I drove that 10 car tremendously. He would come down a day early to go to Reading and come down to Kale's shop and help us with the car. Believe me, I had a lot of good help in my career.
Absolutely, and of course, not only good help, you made a lot of good friends through that.
Great people. Mike Grimm's another one that was talking about restoring my car. The thing was sitting out back rusting away, and I was thinking, I had to really put this back together, and he did such a tremendous job that it's neat that it's going to be around forever, you know what I mean? And it's all original stuff. It's kind of like Russ Miss stuff. It's like, there's no parts that bought down the street from somebody else's car. It's all what was on there.
Now, the car that you restored, was that your first car?
Yeah, that was my very first car. The second coming of that car. It started out with a 55 Chevy frame and a coupe body that I got from Frankie Schneider for the grand total of a case of some kind of beer, some cheap stuff, I don't know. And I ran that car. We didn't have a tubing bender when I built it, so we had a square tube roll cage in it. And it was pretty much all street stock parts on there. Got an engine from Schneider for $250. So, and we ran that for a couple of years, and I put injectors on it, 69, I guess, and then I kind of couldn't afford to do it anymore, and I was fortunate enough to get a ride. Well, in Kale's car, I was making a little bit of money, so I did that car all over again with a 65 Ford frame, and that's the way it's restored now. So, it was pretty neat. One of Joe Bullock's mechanic, Dick Cadwalder, he built the engine for me. I mean, everybody back in those days helped one another. It was competitive, but everybody helped everybody.
Yeah, because I hear so many stories about you guys. You know, you guys were fierce competitors on the track. Then afterward, you spent 3 hours in the pit area after the races hanging out with each other.
Or maybe the dewdrop.
Yeah, maybe that's why you guys ran twice a week, because you were still there on Sunday when the races started.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I like to mention we lost another competitor here a couple of weeks ago with Jackie Hamilton. Boy, he was the clown prince of racing, that guy. I'll tell you, he was a piece of work.
So he was the guy that kept you guys pulled to some of the practical jokes?
Oh, yeah, he was something else. A lot of fun, a lot of fun.
Well, Bob, thanks so very much for coming out here and sharing some stories with us, as well as your friends here tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, it's fun coming back. I hope we can do it a couple more years before we're all going.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Take it easy.
All right, Bobby Braxton.